Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start the next session in the coming few minutes. I request each and everyone to please be comfortable, excited, lively, and happy. It has to be another morning session, not an afternoon typical session. Sir, you got the diamond. What happened? एक बार चेक कर लीजिए ना, अभी खाली है तो. Check the. Already checked. Okay, take it up. Prabhakaran, na? So what do you need? Now it's the session 4, right? International best practices. Session 4, right? Oh yeah, please. Can I help you? Sure. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Just Prabhakaran. So सामने सबसे सामने आगे हाँ. जैसे आपका वॉकिंग हो जाएगा, खाना भी खाओ, पानी तो पी लीजिए. ये సునీల్ గారు హోస్టింగ్ గర్ల్స్ ఒకసారి రమ్మని.
The Singareni Collieries Company Limited is highly committed to implement the sustainable mining activities in all its projects. Eco-friendly mining measures are scrupulously followed while extracting the coal. Similarly, the post-closure activities are also taken up as per the guidelines given by the Ministry of Coal. Here, we are going to present one such mission of post-closure activities in Dorli Open Cast 1 project located near Dorli village in Komaram Bhim, Asifabad district of Telangana state. This project was started in the year 2007 in an area of 510.10 hectares. About 19.047 million tons of coal was extracted from this project. coal extraction was completed in the year 2019 due to exhaustion of the reserves. All machinery and other useful infrastructure material was shifted to nearby
All right, good afternoon,
projects.
ladies and gentlemen.
As part of mine closure
Can we have the
activity,
video stopped for now?
extensive plantation
We
was
can
done
do it again.
in
Thank
an
you.
area of 365.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you feeling today in the afternoon session after a sumptuous lunch? I hope you loved the lunch. I want some energy in the room. Can we keep it a little lively and happy for the rest of the sessions? Yes? Super. I need to hear from the people at the back. All the esteemed delegates, thank you for raising your hands, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my God. Okay, let's clap for once. Okay, let's on the count of 3. Oh my, everyone is ready. Okay, let's 3, 2, 1. Let's clap for the next 10 seconds. Amazing. That sounds beautiful. Are we ready for the next sessions, ladies and gentlemen? I want a louder yes. Yes? Super. Thank you so much. So this session will showcase how countries around the world are adopting innovative, community-focused and environmentally sound mine closure strategies. Global experts will share lessons, case studies and standards that can guide India in implementing safe land rehabilitation, ecological restoration and just transition for mining communities. Ladies and gentlemen, the next session is on international best practices. To moderate this session, it's my absolute honor to invite the former chairperson of Coal India Limited and Jindal Power Limited and an alumnus of ISM Dhanbad. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause as I welcome Shri Anil K. Jha, the moderator of this session. With his extensive leadership and strategic acumen, he drove operational excellence and sustainable growth in India's energy and mining sectors. Hearty welcome to you, sir. All right, joining him on the stage are esteemed panelists here. I begin with Dr. Michael Stanley. Give a big round of applause as we welcome him on the dais. The mining lead at the World Bank is a global recognized expert with more than over 4 decades of experience. He advises government worldwide on politics, investments, thank you sir, and governance to drive sustainable mineral sector development and economic growth. Joining him is Mr. Chandra Bhushan. Give a big round of applause for the CEO of International Forum for Environment, Sustainability and Technology, iForest, is one of the India's leading environmental experts. With a strong background in engineering and environmental planning, he drives research, policy and advocacy on climate change, pollution and sustainable development. We just clapped with a lot of energy. I need more. Come on, everyone. Thank you. Joining them is Mr. Abhinav Jain, ladies and gentlemen, the advisor with GIZ under the Indo-German Energy Program. His experience with the India's climate, energy, development policy. He focuses on multi-stakeholder partnerships, people-centered energy solutions, and advancing agri-PV, BIPV, just transition, and PPPs. Give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Joining them is another professor of surface mining at TU. Frenberg is a distinguished mining expert with extensive industry and academic experience. Professor Karsten, give a big round of applause to him, please. He specializes in mine planning, reclamation, sustainability, and actively contributes to global mining research and education networks. I think we have enough energy restored. Let's keep clapping until they settle down. Thank you. Joining them is Dr. Brenda. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause for the president of BKS Environmental Associates Incorporation. Is an experienced leader in the environmental services sector with a PhD in soil science. She specializes in sustainable development, natural resources, and environmental awareness. All right. Awareness and driving innovative reclamation solutions. That's a lady again, but she would be joining us online very soon. I think we will clap for her as she comes online with lots of energy. Already everyone is clapping. I like the energy. Come on. Okay, joining them is Professor Y.P. Shug, professor at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale is a distinguished mining engineer with decades of academic research and industry experience. His expertise spans mine stability, productivity. Okay, Mr. Chugg is also joining us online. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause as both of them are joining us online here for the session. So I give it over to the moderator, Shri Anil Jha sir, to please take over.
Thank you, madam. A very warm and pleasant good afternoon to all of you. I am aware that after a very sumptuous lunch, it is very difficult to gather for a speech. But then I can assure you from my side that the panelists are so experienced that they will keep you engrossed and you will really learn some new things as far as international best practices are concerned. In the forenoon session, we have seen and we have heard our Honorable Minister that how India is very much concerned about the sustainable development, about the sustainable mine closing without affecting the local gallery. Now, we are here to listen to our experts and program of today is the international best practices. We have 4 speakers. First, Sri Michael Stanley, Global Lead, Extractive World Bank Group, Washington, D.C. He will enlighten us about sustaining livelihoods through novel mine closure practice. Then we have Mr. Chandra Bhushan, President and CEO iForest, and he will be telling us about sustainable mine closure practices for a just transformation of coal regions. In line, third person is Mr. Abhinav Jain, advisor GIZ, the Indo-German Energy Program. He will enlighten us about international best practices in coal mine closure and repurposing, lessons for India. Then we have Professor Dr. Carsten, who will be telling us about mine closure and transformation case studies from Germany. Then we have a video playing by Dr. Brenda on sustainable and responsible mining through sound mine closure. And lastly, Professor Y.P. Chug, most of them must be knowing him. When we were students, we used to aspire to be taught by him. He is a professor of excellence, and he will be addressing the gathering through video conferencing. And I am very sure we will take home sustainable things which will be the outcome of this program. So I will not take much of the time. I will only like to inform my fellow panelists that since we are running close, we are running short of time, so I would request you, please try to restrict yourself within 8 to 9 minutes so that we can hear everyone, and at the last we can have some question answer sessions also. First of all, I will request Sri Michael Stanley, Global Lead Extractives World Bank Group, to please address.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to everyone. I was sitting this morning reflecting. I've been coming to India for more than 20 years working with, and I recognize so many friends and colleagues. But I think that 5 years ago, we saw the first seeds of this sustainable mine closure being planted, and I am so impressed. I have to congratulate you all because I can't think of another country that in 5 years has gone as far in shaping vision and doing actual onboarding of concrete applications. So I want to thank you all. I think you've done a tremendous job on that. I will go very quickly through my presentation because, try that, there we go. Whoops, one too many. There we are. World Bank, we maintain a very large mining unit. I'm a mining engineer by profession, and in 2017-18, we looked at our experience in supporting mine closures, and we looked at over $3 billion of lending that we did supporting mine closures, and we completely revised our framework. And so you'll see two publications on the right side, and we are guided by what we call lessons learned. What did we do well, and what should we do better as we go forward? And from that, we created a framework, which I doubt you can read, but the framework has three principal pillars. The first is that we realized that we needed to focus more on policy, regulation, and mine closure frameworks so that they were very sustainable, and we had progressive closure, and that they empowered the mine operator to work with communities to understand, as that mine moves towards closure, have an inclusive growth process. The second pillar is people and communities, and we came to see that many people in coal regions did not have a sound understanding of the closure process and how this could be an opportunity, because in actual fact, mines do not close. Mines live on and on and on. They get repurposed, and that is what I will show you this afternoon. They get repurposed for other uses, including critical minerals harvesting and alternative uses, which I will show you. And then our third pillar is to work with the operators, with state enterprises and mining companies, to make sure that they are thinking of repurposing and utilizing those assets that have been built up over decades of coal mining so that you can use it for other purposes going forward. So that's the framework that we have. And our principal lesson learned is that you have to have a vision that's very concrete and everyone understands going forward. So those are the various uses that we focus on. There's a new square, which was mentioned this morning, which is critical minerals. So in addition to forestry, agriculture, business parks, renewable energy, et cetera, you also now have critical minerals. So these mines, you have built up infrastructure and built up skills, and those mines live on and on in other forms as they go forward. To help shape this with communities, we developed a tool. There we go. It's called our Land Utilization Repurposing Tool, LURA, and it very much looks at the mine and different parcels within the line, different pieces of land, and the most appropriate use. Is that particular 1 by 1 kilometer square most appropriate for a business park, forestry, aquaculture, renewable energy, or is it a waste pile, and in the future we may wish to recover additional critical minerals? So our methodology takes a very large land holding and breaks it down into these very small squares, sometimes 500 by 500 meters. And it goes through and it looks at the land stability, the geochemistry, the soil, the surface, the subsurface water, and proximity to infrastructure. And it does a scoring so that it tells you each one of those cells has a most appropriate use. And from that, you can then build a vision which is quite diversified. And I will point out that the diversification of a mine when you're repurposing is very important. Not just one use, but many uses that go together to build jobs and opportunities to sustain those communities. So that's an example that you see on the screen. We try and strike a balance. I have already said that you need multiple uses, and so in order to have the most benefit for communities going forward, you want different types of jobs. Some jobs in tourism, some in forestry, aquaculture, et cetera, et cetera. So we try and balance that and work with the communities to understand what are the benefits that they wish to see and what is their vision going forward for the repurposing of that mine, because mines really don't close. This is another example. It just shows you, I haven't got my glasses on, I think this is renewable energy. And so we want to know that we can create a green economy, which is if we can bring in renewable energy and storage, we can then crowd in other industries that want sustainable green energy. It creates jobs, it creates opportunities, and it's an overall contribution to the region itself. So we often start with energy going forward. And what we finally come up with is this comprehensive map of different types of alternative land uses. And then we do a costing exercise. These lands have been mining lands for many decades. So what does it cost to do remediation, reclamation? What does it cost to restore the infrastructure for a future use? And then what is that best possible use? And it's a trade-off of cost and benefit. And we look at it in a very holistic picture because you'll have greater and lesser contributions from different types of future uses. So for the community and the people that work and live in those communities, This balance is important. Some sectors will create fewer jobs but have greater social benefits, whereas other activities will create more jobs and maybe in a smaller contained parcel. So we look at this in a very holistic framework. And then we work with the mine operator, the state, the district, the central government. We work with the community members. We work with CSOs, civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, a very large stakeholder group to build this one vision. And we look into the future, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and build this comprehensive plan that we call a roadmap to which we can then repurpose that mine. And as a final comment on this, I will mention that one of the greatest lessons learned we have is that at the local level, you have to build the skills and the vision for the communities to shape those projects and what they want to see, so that the implementation capacity at the local level is very important. But when you take this very sort of granular, concrete approach, it creates an ability for everyone to have a shared vision, a shared understanding, and it allows development partners and others to come in and actually make that a realization, working with the coal enterprise and the communities and the people that are there. And so that's the approach that we've been taking internationally, and we're pleased that I think my last slide, it's a thank you slide, and we're pleased that we are also active here in India to do the same. So I thank you very much, and I congratulate you because I think you have come so far in the last 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stanley, for elaborately explaining sustaining livelihood through novel mine closure practices. We are aware that World Bank is doing very good work as far as just transition is concerned, and they have doing really some good work in some of the mining areas. And in case of India, it is all the more needed because local population mainly dependent on that industry and agriculture. So if industry is going to be closed, then how they will survive? That is a very moot question. And in that direction, you have really explained very nicely about sustaining livelihood. Now, I really compliment you that you have completed your speech within time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Chandra Bhushan, President and CEO of iForest. He will be explaining us about sustainable mine closure practices for a just transformation of coal region. Mr. Chandra Bhushan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. First of all, let me thank the organizers for inviting me here. Especially, I would like to thank Veera Reddy Garu, PM Prasad Garu for inviting me. I come from the other side. I work in environmental field. But as I was telling Madam Barar yesterday evening, I have never been to a coal conference where so much sustainability was talked about. I started my journey in mining field in 2005, and 2008 I wrote this book. The name of the book is Rich Lands, Poor People, Is Sustainable Mining Possible? This was a book written when there was something called as Anwarul Huda Committee, which was set up by the Planning Commission on National Mineral Policy. I think Jha Sahab will remember, Huda Committee was there, which based on that, Mines and Mineral Development Regulation was revised. So it was during that period of 2005 and 8 that I traveled across India, from Joda Barbil to Rat Hole Mines in Meghalaya to write this book. And I came back very disappointed. And I believed that we need to do something drastically to move resource curse. And I actually wrote that the richest part of India, which has the richest mineral, forest, and water, has the poorest people. So there is something fundamentally wrong in the way we are mining this country. We are doing mining. And most of the recommendation of this book, 18 years down the line, I remember the Secretary Mines at that point of time, who worked on District Mineral Foundation. We worked together on that. So the 2 decades of journey, and I see this room now, where repurposing of mines, sustainable development, just transformation is now being talked about. We have done this has been a long, but a very, very great journey, and I congratulate coal industry for arriving at this milestone. Let me start by saying that these are the goals that has been set by Government of India. We want to reach net zero by 2070. We want to become energy independence by 2047. This is the goal set by Honorable Prime Minister of India at Paris Climate Conference. And the Paris Climate Conference, we have set a target of keeping temperature between 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius. Now, this transformation, ladies and gentlemen, will be the biggest economic transformation in shortest period of time in human history. I'm not going to elaborate, but this is what we are looking at. And this transformation will require just transition, just transformation, whatever terminology you want to call it. Now, in this just transformation, mine closure is a great opportunity. I do not want to dwell on it. The previous 2 sessions were there, but mine closure is an opportunity to transform the economy, but it is also an opportunity for economic diversification of the coal industry. But for that, the philosophy of mine closure will have to change. The philosophy of mine closure so far has been, mine closure is environmental sustainability. That's what our law says. Our law says that we will have to restore our land to the original form as far as possible. This is what the mine closure law says. But if we want repurposing, the philosophy has to change, that the mine closure will be equal to economic continuity and environmental sustainability. Then only mine closure will become a major part of just transition. I'm so happy that the 2025 guideline recognizes it now. The 2025 coal mine closure guideline is very much focused on just transformation and mine repurposing. But I want to put another philosophy here, and that is, our mine closure planning must be aligned with regional development. We should not be doing mine closure planning in isolation if we are thinking about repurposing. Now, this is what we have done. Last week in Mumbai, we published our first report, in fact, India's first report on regional just transition investment plan for Chandrapur, Nagpur, and Yavatmal region, which is a 10-year roadmap of transforming the closed coal mines of this region into green economy and green industry hub. Why Chandrapur, Nagpur, Yavatmal? This is where all the coal mine is, and 50% of the thermal power plant of Maharashtra is. An estimated 6 lakh workers depend on these 2 industries. And mining and industry is about 1/4 of the district gross domestic product in the 3 districts where we have done this study. The fact is, by 2035, irrespective of climate change, just because resource is getting exhausted, mines are becoming unprofitable, we will see 50% reduction in coal production. We will see 1/4 of thermal power plant closing down. Just because of a techno-economic reason, not because of environmental reason. And therefore, it will affect about 2.5 lakh workers, and the GDP of these regions will contract by about 15%. This is what a macroeconomic analysis shows. The other challenge is, the coal area is not the area where your green energy or green industry is coming. In Maharashtra, for example, the entire coal belt, there is hardly any renewable energy. The renewable energy is coming on the other side of the state. Very little is going to the coal area, and this is true, unfortunately, for across the country. Eastern region is not getting any renewable energy. renewable energy and renewable industry is coming in southern and western region of India. So the coal region needs to learn to attract green investment. What have we done? We set out an objective that we want to develop a just and inclusive transition plan, as I said, for the closed coal mines. And we use the principle of 6 Rs. 6R is the principle that iForest came out with almost 3 years back for just transition, which means restructuring of economy, repurposing of land and infrastructure, revenue substitution, skilling and reskilling, resilient community, and responsible social and environmental practice. You are most welcome to look at this report, which is about 6 hours of just transition that we have published almost 3 years back. What are the results? We studied 18 open cast mine, which is closed or about to be closed. And our study shows that 9,000 hectares can be potentially repurposed by 2030. But we quickly realized that individually mines don't have enough land for good economic repurposing. So we decided to cluster mines into 3 economic zones. Economic zone 1, which was 6 mines, economic zone 2, which was 4 mines, and economic zone 3, which was 1 mine near Nagpur. So we clubbed the mines to make available land economically viable. So I'm just telling you about the zone 1, which is Bhadravati and Vani in Yavatmal. The total land available is about 5,000 hectares, but we think only about 1/3 can be effectively repurposed. 2/3 will remain for environment. In fact, all our study shows that if you are looking at economic continuity and environmental sustainability, only about 1/3 of land will get repurposed. 2/3 will have to remain either for forest or for water body. So under this zone, we thought we did a study on green hydrogen and green chemical cluster. The repurposing cost is about 9,000 crore, but it will attract investment about 2.5 lakh crores. In second zone, which is Rajura and Balarpur block, the land is 2,800, but you can only repurpose about 1,100 hectares. And it is best suitable for automotive and EV cluster. The repurposing cost is about 5,500. It will potentially get investment about 2 lakh crore, generate employment for about 2 lakh people. And the third, which is near Nagpur, it can be converted into an advanced semiconductor and advanced technology cluster. Small amount of land, 3,000 hectares, so it can be a small industrial cluster. Repurposing cost is small, 500 crore rupees. It will attract about 17,000 crore rupees in investment, generate about 30,000 jobs. So this is what we have done. And we also mapped where renewable energy will come in these 3 districts. And about 8 gigawatt of solar and 25 gigawatt of battery can come here. So that detailed study was also done. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, about 33,000 crore rupees will be needed for transition in this area. 66% of the cost will be for coal mine reclamation. Remaining will be for other activity, and you can see in the table. But this will attract investment of 5.4 lakh crore over the next 10 years, create 3.4 lakh jobs, increase GDP of this area by 4%. This is a very good deal. Good for environment and good for economy, most importantly, very, very good for coal industry. Lastly, there is a policy backing for this, starting with coal mine closure guideline, DMF investment, and then Maharashtra is coming out with just transition policy very soon. Let me end by saying that I believe that what is good, a good economics and good politics is good for industry and good for environment. Just transformation of coal mine is that idea, which is good economics, good business, and good politics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrabhushan, for thoroughly explaining about the various aspects of mine closure. And I'm really impressed to know that if you go for just transformation or just transition, the amount which will be invested it will be give you 3 more times return of what amount is being invested. So no industry or no place can prosper until and unless it is economically viable. So if just transition or just transformation can lead to some economic prosperity, I am really thankful that Mr. Chandrabhushan has given an insight on that. And I would request him to please publish detailed information about this, because once it is not known to me, I presume that it may not be known to many of us. So in the form of a small booklet, it will be really helpful and it will help the industry. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chandrabhushan. Now I would like to invite Sri Abhinav Jain, Advisor GIZ, the Indo-German Energy Program. Mr. Jain will enlighten about the international best practices in coal mine closure and repurposing and lessons for India. We will be very, very eagerly waiting. We will be eagerly waiting to know what lessons it holds for India. Yes, Mr. Jain.
Can we hear a huge round of applause for him, the man who's standing here? Thank you so much. I take your pardon, sir. I would like to invite another esteemed speaker. It's my absolute privilege, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together as I invite the Managing Director of Triveni Earth Movers Private Limited, Shri B. Prabhakaran Garu, with a huge round of applause to please join the stage. I hand over to this.
Thank you. Thank you to Ministry of Coal for organizing such a wonderful workshop where the minds from all over the world are coming together to see what can India do and what can India show to the world. Because the problem we are discussing is not only the problem of India, it is the problem of many more countries which don't have the resources to invest and the knowledge to make their own path. So we are not only charting path for our own, but also showing the path to many others. Myself, Abhinav Jain, I am the director for the project on just transition in German Development Corporation. A brief about German Development Corporation. Many of you may not know German Development Corporation. GIZ is a 100% entity owned by government of Germany. It works under the bilateral cooperation between India and Germany. Most of the time, all the topics were agreed at Prime Minister and Chancellor level, and then GIZ implement those activities. Right now, we in India have around 500 people who work with 23 ministries across India on many topics of sustainable development, starting on energy, water, forest, urban development, mobility, climate change. So, coming to responsible mine closure, what it means to me. It means to me that we restore ecological balance, which we say reclamation, ensure post-mining land use, which is repurposing, and safeguard community welfare, which is socio-economic development of the adjacent area. I will take you through a journey that may be not overlapping with my fellow colleagues from Germany, who will again speak about German best practices. So I will limit my explanation for Germany, but what all other countries are doing, many European countries and other countries, and what can be useful for India. We all know we have economic challenge, environmental challenge, and social challenge. But one challenge which I see is in the heart is that what will happen to the local cash flow and the consumption post the coal mine closure. We all know that many of these economies which we are talking about are completely dependent because they are mono economies heavily reliant on the coal. And once the coal mine get closed, all the people who are living there, the salaried employees, and based on their salaries, all the people who are dependent in the nearby adjacent community, the contractors who are dependent on the contract from coal mines, will all not have any other source of cash flow. So what will happen to them? So that is at the heart. Rest everything we can do, But will it result into them again migrating out of that area, or can they sustain? So this is the question for me. So I will take through a very short journey of German coal transition. My transition is, the German coal transition is focused majorly in Brandenburg and North Rhine-Westphalia. This whole journey started in 2011, where the national energy transition began. Nuclear exit was decided, and in 2020, phase-out law was passed, where it was said that Germany will phase out completely from coal by 2038. What happens in this coal mine closure phase-out law? That a coal commission was established, which looks into a coal closure strategy. So it's a legally binding phase-out with regional specific timeline, that what will happen at every year. We have mass repurposing and land reclamation to be done, and then the economic diversification and regional development. So in mine closure strategy, all the environmental measures were taken care of. In repurposing and land reclamation, the provision for creating lakes, SMEs, industries, green hydrogen hubs, solar plants were all provided, and then a 40 billion federal support package was provided for till 2038. With this 40 billion support package, 14 billion was direct investment to local infrastructure, and 26 billion for R&D hubs, business park, and public institution in affected regions. And then focus on employment, FLF research institutes were established, and they are right now working on post-coal mine closure, how to bring industries, how to bring investment, and how to bring the economic welfare back to that location once the coal mine gets closed. This is a short map representation. I think it's not very much visual, but the important point is that in one map you can see, where the coal mine existed, which land parcel is getting reclaimed, where repurposing is happening, and which industry is coming at which location. Because this is something which you need to provide to the stakeholder partners and community, a vision that yes, this is the way we are going to make the transition. This is something which I also see the role CCO can play. With all the coal mine closures and the best practices we have, we don't have a map of India where we can see that what all is happening and what all can happen. So BGR is one of the institutes which looks into research on mines, and I'm giving an example of the Lutetia mining district, that these are some of the mines which are more than having a coal seam of 60 to 100 meter depth. They have 14 active mines at a point of time. Now only 3 are active, which will be phased out by 2038. Major challenge which is there is the stability of land. We can say we can reclaim all the land, but that's not possible. Many of the land area is not stable for reclamation. You have huge amount of problem on water resource management, because previously we used to pump out groundwater and flood it in the open cast. But what will happen once the mines get closed? And there is a whole water mine nexus, So many of the people told that they are providing water to the cities, they are providing water to the lakes, rivers, and there is always a water management from the mines to the community or from the nearby environment to the mines. How you will manage it after the closure of mine? So with these 3 challenges, there are few also examples what had happened. So I'm showing you a few pictures, like RWE had created this 8 megawatt plus 4.1 megawatt and 8.1 megawatt hour of energy storage plant. The another part is solar, which India is also doing a lot along with energy storage. This is another PV plus energy storage, and you can see how the landscape look like after reclamation. This is agri-PV plant, which is right now being tested on the mine land itself, which is vertical agri-PV, not south-oriented agri-PV. Reskilling and upskilling is also a huge effort which is happening in South Africa because RE is a transition plan they are looking because of the cheap power. Diversified livelihood opportunities is something which is not that common in Germany for the for community directly, like fishing and these things, but in India it's very important. And then you need to provide lot of skilling. But this is only in Germany. What happened, and also some of the things which is in mining museum. But okay, what happens in other country? If you see, most of the country is phasing out of coal not because they want to, because it is economically unviable. So if you see from international experience, either the gas is becoming more competitive, or renewable is becoming more competitive, or coal is becoming less competitive, and the last is the EU commitment for net zero. So these are the 4 factors which is pushing for the coal phase out. Many of these countries, you can see the percentage of their reliance on coal, which is very less in comparison to the percentage of reliance we have in India. Okay, then in these countries, what is happening? In terms of land reclamation, I heard all the terms which these countries are doing, and we are already doing. We are making lakes, forest, clearing polluted landmines, stabilizing scope, creating solar-ready infrastructure in Slovakia, waste cleanup in USA, and solar and desalination like in Chile. So I don't think there is anything else which I can suggest from these land reclamation. In repurposing, they are doing hydrogen hub, MSMEs, technological park, tourism, IT cluster, PV factories, and some of the more highlighted thing you can see from the slide. Last thing which I will say are the pillars of transition. In all these countries, for all of these to happen, they are majorly depending on 4 things: governance, repurposing, community engagement, and financing. In India, I believe that we also have to, let me go to the last slide. Yeah, I think in India, we also have to have these pillars very clearly spelled out, that there is a vision by us. Reclaim, I think, is already a vision we had created and launched today. Governance, we should establish, like the way Chandrabhushan ji said, regional transition zones and regional planning for coal transition. We should have participative planning as said by the representative from CCO. Research and education, we should start having few institutions which are getting capacity developed as center of excellences on post-mine, clover and the knowledge. And funding, we had escrow money, we have DMF fund, but we need to see how all of these money can be used for the Reclaim India, the initiative which government and the Ministry of Coal is wanting to take up. With this, I stop. I would just like to say we are starting or waiting for a new project with Ministry of Coal to support this activity for next 4 years. And once it's approved, we would be happy to provide the international experience, bring knowledge, and whatever is required on behalf of government of Germany. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jain, for giving us an insight about the best practices of mine closure. I would like to inform you that in case of India, at least entire coal mining region has been mapped. The coal resources of India is mostly spread over 8 states, and all the resources has been mapped. And Ministry of Coal is very seriously taking about the mine closure. In the morning session, Minister has informed that 147 mine has been taken for sustainable mine closure. But I really learned some new things from you and lessons from India, which we will discuss in detail. With that, I will invite Professor Dr. Carlson, who will be informing us about mine closure and transformation case studies from Germany. Professor Dr. Carlson, please.
Yeah, first, thank you very much for the invitation to be today here and share the experiences my colleagues will start with. And of course, a big compliment and my respect, because presentations we had before were on a very high level, and my impression is that international exchange is needed, but we can learn a lot from India. So that's my compliment again. Yeah, my background is a technical university, which has a name Mining Academy, and we celebrate this day 260 years of establishment. We are a focused university in minerals, mining and metals, plus energy and environment. And in this field, we deal different study programs, and most of our students are internationals. By the way, a lot of students from India, I think, is the largest community we have now. I will pick up from this big scale of sustainability, even the same aspects which were mentioned before, the contributions of mine closure to transformation. About sustainability, we issued a brand new book with virtual content in internet and through an app. And I have some of this here with me, and who is interested can pick up. One chapter here is sustainability in mining, the other one is mine planning. Reclamation will be issued volume 3 over next year. To start into the transformation, we are here in the room know very well what are the benefits we have from mining in general, especially from coal mining. And we have a lot of flow of money. The companies pay salary, they pay taxes, and from the salary pay taxes. The companies pay, let's say, sponsorship, they pay for education, vocational training, for example, they pay for research. And so a whole system is running around a mining company in the society. And it creates a lot of jobs, it creates an expertise, it creates an identity with the region, and this over 100, 150 years. But the resources and the reserves are limited, and sometime is an end, and if it's not naturally, then the politics decide sometimes to do something. And then starts questions. What is about the social situation in such a region? Why someone shall stay in the region when they lost their jobs? Why someone shall invest in new jobs when before there was no reason to invest there in this place? And this is a special situation. We learn in our experience of mine closure that the principle hope maybe is not an answer. We need more efforts and a good plan to realize it. We have this economic dimension. The money flows are in shortage, and a lot of adaptations are needed for a new economy. Yeah, but there is, of course, a chance, because the environmental impact connected with mining industry is then maybe a signal that the life quality improves, and even new jobs can be created. That's why the transformation process is not easy, and of course depends of the situation in the surrounding. If you have a mono-developed region, then there's another case, is your mining region is integrated into a big industrial area. And the natural conditions plays a role, and a lot of others. We have 3 phases of mine closure in Germany concerning coal. The first starts in the 1970s with a closure in hard coal mining, which is an underground mining method mainly, you know. And we come down from 150 million tons per year, then in 2018 to close the last underground mine. And the reason was very simple. Since 70s, the hard coal mining in Germany was not international competitive. This means the coal mining was connected with losses. And that's why the closure was a consequence. Even there are a lot of reasons to keep it, but the decision was made. And even here we learn that up to now, social problems, even this is several years ago, when the process finished, was a process last 50 years, that the social problems and economic problems are not solved. Then you listen about the second mine closure event we had between 1990 and 1995, when the lignite production, which is an open pit and open mine operation, dropped down from 300 million to 80 million in 5 years. And more than 40 mines were closed, and more than 50 industrial places were closed. And only a small part was privatized. And here's government decided to pay for, and even in lignite mining, they were spent up to now 13 billion euros for the mine closure. The mine closure runs now 35 years, is not finished, and this gives us a dimension what it means to close not only a single mine and others are running around, but to close a mining region. The third stage is what is running now. 2019 was a decision to close the lignite mines completely, even from the remaining 180 million tons per year to zero in 2038. And therefore, the government learned from the lessons before and undertake now measures, even spent a budget of 40 billion euros for supporting the development in the region. Additional to this 40 billion is a certain billion for compensation for the mining companies, because they got a license to operate up to 1,040 plus years. And now the government say, excuse, it was a mistake. And because now the companies not have the profit they expected, the government must pay for. And another one is coal as a cheap player in coal price making. And when you have no more coal inside, then the energy prices increases. And then a certain program, if you listen news from yesterday or after yesterday, even there were decisions in the German government to compensate the price for industrial electricity, for example, for companies. Yeah, what to do with this 40 billion in the region, which is running now in the 6th year? And this is to make the region attractive for investments. And one reason is the infrastructure, to have good communication to the markets, to bring in the people, to bring in the raw materials, and to send the products outside. Another one is how we can use the existing infrastructure, for example, the high voltage power plant systems, to create new business in energy. Another initiative is to build an, let's say, nice environment to live there. And young generation, they are looking for culture, they are looking for education, they are looking for even a good quality of life, a good air conditions and other things. And even an improvement in the community invests to meet these requirements. And a lot of working places shifted now. For example, governmental agencies move from Berlin or from other big cities to these mining regions to give a starting point of new jobs in the region. By the way, the money is used for early retirement programs, for retraining of people, for motivation of creating startups and others. And of course, the mining companies by self, which are in the coal area energy companies, they start to invest in the new technologies as solar, hydrogen, and others. A lot of aspects I still mentioned as biodiversity, leisure recreation, latest technologies and so on, which makes the regions attractive. And what can now contribute mine closure? And similar pictures we saw in some presentations before. Biodiversity is an issue which is implemented widely. 20% of the dumps in coal mining regions are nature preservation areas today. Biodiversity by water bodies, not only lakes, but and riverbeds, as you can see here in this snapshot. Lakes, multifunctional for water management, for biodiversity, for recreation purposes. Forests in regions which are empty of vegetation because of hundreds of years of intensive agriculture. New technologies which create to deal with the problems which come up with mine closure. We have new event situations and possibilities even for culture, for recreation, for events and education. And at least mining regions obtain a World Heritage nomination or a World Heritage brand, which is of course very important. This is here in the ore mining region. And we have special study programs at our university, say, transferring this knowledge. Not only about mine closure in coal mining, but we have even in the 90s the same problems with metal mining in a large scale. Copper mines were closed, tin mines were closed, feldspar, barite mines were closed, uranium mines were closed in a large scale. And all this knowledge is focused in our university, and that's why we are ready to cooperate and support India on the way to learn from these ideas. Long-lasting questions, I told more than 35 years we deal with mine closure, and we see another 35 years are needed, especially in water management and decontamination and monitoring purposes. And in the end, we can say that mining in the end destroy nothing. Mining creates a new landscape with new future, with new perspectives for people living there, but it's needed certain conditions. I will skip now these slides, they are very important, but one sentence or one idea I will pick up, that in mining law in Germany, the responsibility of the mining company for closing the mine and reclamation is a fact since 160 years. So this is for us, let's say, a genetic element of a miner, that reclamation is not the end of a mine, this is an integrated part in mine planning. And if you apply for a license for a mine in Germany, so first you must show to the authority is a reclamation plan, a plan of mine closure agreed with the public in the region, so that there is clear what is afterwards. And of course this process adjusted after 10, 15 years with new developments in the society, but this is an integrated part, and we are ready to share with you, to learn from you, and maybe different aspects you can think about, maybe they are interesting and for you. Thank you very much for your attention and the opportunity to speak here.
Thank you very much, Professor Carson, for giving us a deep insights about the mine closure and various parameters associated with it. But let me tell the House that as far as India is concerned, India doesn't have any alternative but to depend on coal for some time to come, because this is the only energy resource available to the country. So we will have to concentrate on best use of coal also, so that it leads to least environmental degradation. But we cannot do away with coal, at least in the near future. But yes, country has taken major steps to see that degradation brought out due to mining should be localized, should be minimized, and should be brought to good economic use. Thank you very much, Professor, for giving us an insight. Now, I would request Mr. Prabhakaran, who is the Managing Director of Lloyds and who has brought transformational change as far as iron ore mining is concerned in the state of Odisha, and he is going to bring a transformational change in the Chhattisgarh landscape also as far as mining of iron ore is concerned. To you, Mr. Prabhakaran.
Respected officials of the mining industry, senior colleagues, and all from mining, I have been nominated as Managing Director of Lloyds Metal and Energy. Before the slide comes up, I am presenting about an opportunity called Gadchiroli. Gadchiroli in the state of Maharashtra has been indebted with one of the best iron ore deposits which was discovered even pre-independence, and the largest steel maker of the country, Tata Steel, had the first iron ore mine there as Chandrapur Iron Works. Because of various reasons, the mine could not be operated, and we had an opportunity to be there to bring out and discover Gadchiroli, which will be useful for the new steel hub, the Prime Minister's vision of 300 million tons on steel and also of increase in production. We are able to contribute to bring this new region into production, and right now the mine has started from 2 million to 25 million tons with 55 million tons of ROM handling. And also the government has come up with various initiatives to put up as a new steel hub of the country, and various initiatives has been done by the Maharashtra government and also by the government of India. So basically, if you look at this mine, this is going to be a complete complex which will be sustainable. It's not only going to be a colony where iron ore is going to be extracted, the value addition is going to be made there, beneficiation is being put up there, and latest technology of green mining or towards green mining to see that how do we use lesser fossil fuel is also being practiced. We are one of the first companies to make it happen. So this complete setup is going to produce 25 million tons, consume 15 million tons within Gadchiroli district, and remaining 10 million is going to be used for the neighboring places. Otherwise, it is coming from far-flung places where there are a lot of logistic challenges. So it is bordering with Chhattisgarh. It's in the state of Maharashtra. It is Chhattisgarh, and Gadchiroli has got the same mineral landscape. And this particular region can build at least about 100 to 200 million tons of new iron ore can come into the country, which will make India sustainable, to see that on our vision of Make in India. So it is the Prime Minister's aspirational district, and also this has gone through various challenges. Just to not to talk about the past, there has been a lot of human life has lost when this mining was being able to start operations, had a lot of various challenges, and the sacrifices made by lots of people. Today we stand as a successful mining company. Our credits and prayers goes to them and their families which has lost their lives in this region. There has been more than 400 policemen, lot of civilians, and some of our officials, including the Vice President, has lost life in the endeavor of Gadchiroli becoming the new steel hub of this country. So, changing scenario, government has come up with a huge subsidy of almost 150% capital subsidy, which is never heard of. The entire capital of 150% is reimbursed by the government by new taxes which comes through GST and other norms, which is very substantial development and support by the government, without which smaller companies like us cannot aim to put up a 7 million ton integrated steel plant into one of the most challenging environments. Today, as we stand, already the industrial revolution is already started. It's more than about 10 million tons of pellet making. Slurry transportation has been implemented. Slurry line transportation, which is one of the most cleaner way to transport raw material, has been established and commissioned in 11 months period, which is a real commendable timeline to be set for the upcoming companies to look at this kind of timelines. Otherwise, it has been 4 to 5 years. This is one of the first slurry pipeline in the central part of India. We have gone with a lot of initiatives. The first thing is what we got it is to see that people who are not aligned with the government, we could make them surrender make them as employees of our company, and build the skill which is required to make them employable. In this journey, being a listed company, each worker who's working has been the partner in the progress by giving shares to them. So they're all shareholders of our company. And the shares which has been given is given at the face value, which is only 4 rupees. So there is a substantial advantage of joining. So the community or the so-called people who are not aligned because the prosperity of company depends upon the share value, how it trades. Today we are around 1400 to 1500 rupees per share of trading, where an employee who surrenders gets at 4 rupees a share. So he becomes an integral owner of this policy, and we are one of the first few to see the ESOP goes to the workmen. We build in infrastructure. We bring in various support systems to the government because the security forces lack technology. We also supported them to bring MACWAL, which is an anti-ballistic reinforcement in the far-flung armed outpost where they were subject to a lot of threat from the Naxal and other activities. We have given dedicated helicopters for the movement because most of the troops were lost their lives during the transit because of the landmine what they blast. We have given them thermal imaging drones. Initially, we were the first to import it about 3 years back, which got a vision of about 30 kilometers range on thermal image, which makes them to be vulnerable to see where the other threat comes in. So we are working, we are prepared. Next thing is the staying facility of the policemen, which is up in the jungles, is always very stressful. We could make family quarters to them deep in the jungle so that they can be with the family when they are posted in this kind of challenging environment. On the progress of mineralogy or sustainability, we could make the BHQ, which is otherwise considered to be less than 45% Fe. We could bring some pilot plants, and now we are establishing one of the world's largest beneficiation plant with an investment of about 4,500 crore, where we are converting it into a high-grade ore, which is going to be 67% Fe. Already the pilot plant is already operational. The major plant, we have got all the clearances. In next 27 months, we'll get it commissioned. This will pave way for our green steel raw material because the alumina content is very less, which paves to see that the energy requirement in whatever form you make steel, this will be one of the most less carbon footprint made on the material. The next is we have got the various slurry pipeline routes. We wanted to move the product through a slurry pipeline to the customer and also to the various loading stations so that there is least environmental impact. And already about 87 kilometers of pipeline of 10 million ton, which is commissioned, and it has been operational about 5 days back. So this is our complex with all our beneficiation. Next is, this is something which I wanted to emphasize, that we talk about Make in India. We are one of the first companies to repower the electrical equipments diesel-driven equipment into electrical equipment in-house, having our own Indian engineers to do that, where we are able to run even a 35 cubic meter excavators have also made electrical, and also the entire electricity we are sourcing from green source so that the renewable energy is used for us. We have tied up for about 40 megawatt right now, but we have a vision to have about 100 megawatt of green electricity. The trucks, the natural advantage is the down gradient. So the trucks, which is battery operated, gets regeneration so that there is almost net zero discharge in our loads. All our ROM is done through 80-ton trucks, which is completely working on battery, excavators electrical, drills electrical, wheel loaders electrical, and the graders, motor graders are also electrically operated. There is a huge saving in the fossil fuel. We are one of the first to do that. And we have seen that every gender equality has been practiced. We are practicing there to see that the women comes into all walks of life. We train them, we get them the license, we operate them, we get the certificate through the Skill Council of India so that they are able to be presentable as an employable people, if not with us, even with others. And on the transportation, we have, as I said, slurry pipeline, we have brought EV trucks, and also we have started LNG. A part towards to see that from diesel we are moving on. We have waste heat recovery in our steel plant, so the charging stations, which is a challenge, we are able to bring in the waste heat recovery from our steel plant to see that the EV trucks gets charged so that it also reduces the other dependence on fuel from the other sources. and full-fledged training centers are there. Whoever is surrendered, we make them employable. Not only as operators, we have the full simulators, but also we see that the right kind of people are able to be given for better education. We have sent them to Australia, Curtin University for mining, diploma in metallurgy, diploma in environmental sciences. We have sponsored the tribal children. We made them to get adaptable to English standards. They have qualified, and now about 28 students are studying in the Curtin University to see that they will be coming back, and they are all from the district of Gadchiroli. To facilitate, the government of Maharashtra has supported us to see that off-site campus is coming in Gadchiroli. Thanks to Curtin University, they have agreed to open up a campus in Gadchiroli, which we are working together with them to see that the cost at which what we send outside, we'll be able to reach out to the more students from our side. And skill development, all walks of life. Today in construction industry, there is a huge shortage. We are building about 30,000 crores of investment in the district. We saw that the local youth is trained for all the skill sets which is required, right from mason to barbenders to electricians. We see that we employ them directly. We don't have contractors to work with. We employ them directly and bring them the skill so that they are able to work. Today, construction industry poses a great challenge of availability of skill which is required. Right now, about 1,700 people have been trained in all these skills which is required, and we are able to bring them, and they are all as shareholders, they feel, and we don't have any kind of threat from any of the other activities. And plantation drive, we see that the plantation, however we pay government the compensatory afforestation, we have taken our initiative ourselves to plant about 11 lakh trees in Gadchiroli, so that we will be able to, and we can not only planting to see that how the survival is there. Sustainable mining, as I said, slurry transportation, mining through electrical equipments, and also to see that we are able to get this a new delivery comes in. 7 million tons of steel we are producing. There is already large players have already announced more than 1 lakh crore of investment into Gadchiroli. I'm happy to say Government of Maharashtra has set up a corporation where Gadchiroli Mineral Corporation has been already established, and government is thinking of producing at least 100 to 150 million tons every year because of the grade of iron ore which is available. I'm very sure this will rewrite the entire supply dynamics of this district, and we feel that we being one of the first movers to be there, we have been very, very thankful for all the support with the government officials, especially the Indian Bureau of Mines, which came out of way to approve our mining plan for 55 million tons of ROM, where 45 million ton is going to be processed inside the mining complex and produce about 15 million tons of very high grade. And the product which comes out is also useful for construction industry as sand, which will also help us to see that the riverbed depletion does not happen. I thank you once again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prabhakaran, for informing the House about the best practices of iron ore mining in Gadchiroli area. And I am very sure with your involvement, it is a matter of time only when Gadchiroli attains 150 to 200 million ton of iron ore, and in making India self-sufficient as far as iron ore mining is concerned. We are truly impressed by the work you have done in Gadchiroli, an area where people feared to enter into that area. And in that area, doing such type of mining is really a commendable thing. And for that, I, from my behalf, appreciate the Lloyd Stills for taking such type of activities. Now, I would request Dr. Brenda K. Swagler for playing that video which he has seen. Please.
Greetings from the United States of America, specifically the state of Wyoming. My name is Brenda Schladweiler. I'm the president of BKS Environmental Associates in Gillette. I'm also current past president of the American Society for Reclamation Sciences, and I am going to present to you today about sustainable and responsible mining through sound mine closure in conjunction with my co-authors, Dr. Paul Chu and Chet Skilbred, who is a former reclamation manager at the case study mine we'll be talking about. So this presentation in part is brought to you by the International Initiative of ASRS. It is under that society's name and was created in early 2024. Its mission is to provide a broad focus across different disturbed lands and ecosystems, but is not limited to large-scale industrial disturbance reclamation. After its creation in early 2024, in January of this year, we implemented the International Oversight Committee, which is made up of members from different countries on 2-year terms. And the administration part of this initiative is performed by Dr. Chu and myself as co-chairs. So if you have any questions about this initiative, there will be some contact information at the end that you can contact either Dr. Chu or myself. The following is an overview of guidelines for achieving sound mine closure and their application for closure of a large surface coal mine in Wyoming, USA. As an overview, mining is an important global industry. The products of mining, both metals and minerals, are the foundations of many of the things we enjoy. Industry will continue to grow consistent with increased population and the needs of the global society. Mineral extraction and processing activities disturb the pre-mining land, water resources, and air quality environments and can negatively impact short-term the overall ecology, health, and safety of the environment locally and regionally. Through planning and implementation concurrent with mining, we can successfully reclaim and restore the disturbed ecosystems and close a mine with minimal or no long-term local and regional impacts. The regulatory environment in the USA is based primarily on 2 federal regulations and a number of state regulations. First, mining on federal surface and/or minerals is regulated by the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. It requires an assessment for multiple scenarios prior to decision making, either as an environmental impact statement, or EIS, or environmental assessment, or an EA. All stakeholders are informed and involved in the process. Public hearings, feedback, and litigation ensure consideration of relevant issues. Coal mining on all lands is regulated by the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act, or SMCRA, of 1977, and it provides a balance between resource development and environmental protection. Comprehensive mining and reclamation plans, including mine closure, provide details of the pre-mining environmental conditions and land uses and post-mining and post-closure conditions. Current laws regulate management of processing waste or tailings, mining waste, and closure of mines. The mine reclamation plan required as part of the mine permit application includes an appropriate mine closure plan. Such laws require financial guarantees or bonding prior to initiation of mine development to ensure appropriate mine closure and reclamation costs. Industry's primary focus will be on environmental issues related to reclamation and restoration of the impacted area, ensuring no further environmental damage and allowing alternative future development and use. The government's view is broader and includes social, economic, and development issues. The mine is close to the satisfaction of local and regional community stakeholders, as well as the government. A comprehensive or integrated mine closure approach has evolved in most government permitting processes. Integrating mine closure is part of the mine operations planning and essentially begins the day the mine operation starts. Social and economic considerations include mining provides considerable socioeconomic benefits to communities. Strategies to maintain stability of benefits throughout the life of the mine should be developed with community leaders and community organizations. Stakeholder involvement is critical to developing and closing a mining enterprise concurrently with mining. Integrated mine operations and mine closure planning. Closure goals return the mined out area to a state that is close to a pre-mining condition or land use while involving all stakeholders. State and federal permitting requires pre-mining investigations for physical and chemical characteristics of the overburden, hydrological investigations, land use and plant species, wildlife habitats, and potential impacts of mining. Research may be needed for waste management and post-management monitoring to achieve long-term success. Prior to mine closure, plans for dealing with infrastructure, removal of equipment, haul roads, access openings, facilities must be developed. Successful closure is more economical if implemented as part of mining operations. Therefore, as previously stated, the mine should begin the day it opens. The application of some of these concepts will be applied to a large surface mine in Wyoming, USA, particularly the Dave Johnston mine near Glenrock, Wyoming, and owned by Glenrock Coal Company. The location of this case study is in Wyoming, as previously stated, which is in the upper left. In the upper right is a picture of the state of Wyoming and the coal basins within Wyoming. You can see Wyoming has a lot of different coal basins, one of the more active ones being the Powder River Basin, which is in the northeastern part of the state. And the case study mine is at the southern end of the Powder River Basin, but there are a number of mines that are north of that case study that are still active. The history starts at this case study mine back in 1958. It provided coal for a nearby power plant, which was constructed in 1959. It operated until about 1998 when the decision was made to close the mine, and over about a 7-year period, the last of the coal was shipped out and closure started. Initiation of reclamation under SMACRA started about 2005, and then the wind turbines as part of an alternative land use were installed in 2008 and 2009. So some natural reclamation challenge at this case study mine. There is little or no surface water for wildlife habitat or livestock. Shrub establishment has many challenges for wildlife habitat, one being sandy soils, which are droughty. Windy conditions can dry out reclamation, or it is also harmful to young seedlings. It's somewhat of an abrasive impact on those young seedlings, and there were some acidic overburden that was present. Historical land uses are basically wildlife habitat, domestic livestock production, but wind energy was also added. So some of the efforts, reclamation efforts designed to meet these challenges, in this case lack of surface water. Even though the coal seams were devoid of water, this mine tried to take advantage of high wall seeps wherever.
Shall we invite Professor Chug? Mr. Marapalli? Shall we invite Professor Chug now? So you have heard the recorded version of Dr. Brinda. Now I am going to invite Professor Chug. Sir, my sincere apologies for slight delay. And when we were students, we always aspired to have a lecture from you. I am really blessed that I will be hearing you online. So mic is over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, very much. Just give me a second here. File Explorer. I don't know why is it not coming?
Sir, already that has been played, that video has been played.
Right now, I was trying to just upload my four slides.
If you find any technical glitch, sir, you can tell yourself. Barbet.
Okay, let me see if I can somehow or the other get my content only.
Absolutely no issue, sir. You can speak extempore.
Okay, let me kind of share with you. I'll take only about 5 or 6 minutes. This is a relatively young development on international principles and standards for the ecological restoration of mine sites. And I just want to share a little bit of this because it is so pertinent to what you folks have been talking about. And I will basically share with you that it embodies 8 principles. Principle 1 is engage the stakeholders throughout the life of the mine. Very, very important. Draw on many types of knowledge. Ecological restoration is not only mining, it involves all different disciplines that we must be willing to embrace and learn. Another important principle is that we must appropriately characterize the reference ecosystems. This is where I believe we are falling short. We try to do the characterization at the project level, but we need to do it at the landscape level and beyond, so that when we go ahead and apply the restoration principles, they involve landscape level restoration rather than the project level. The next item that we must look into is support ecosystem recovery processes. We cannot just go ahead and expect Mother Nature to recover the ecosystem. We have to support it. We must develop measurable indicators, ecological indicators, which we must assess to determine if we are succeeding or not. Very important principle is we must not stop at pre-mining condition. We must seek to achieve the highest level of recovery that is attainable. Very, very important point. Gain cumulative value when applied at large scales. That is where ecological valuation comes in. Ecosystem services valuation has to be